How do you feel tonight?
Vindicated, and I'm proud of our president for getting the job done, and it's about time.
You know, revenge is not a good feeling, but this is definitely, this is good. I feel good.
My brother was a fireman who got killed at the World Trade Center in the South Tower.
Very sorry to hear that.
So I'm feeling pretty mixed right now.
I'm here because 10 years ago, we lost a lot of innocent people.
I wish I caught him. I wish I had him.
It makes me feel amazing that our country can come together like this again and that we can finish what we started.
Welcome back to Morning Joe. Joining us now from Utica, New York, Gordon Felt, whose older brother Edward was killed on September 11th. He was aboard Flight 93. Gordon, thanks very much for being on our broadcast this morning. You saw probably video of the jubilations in the street of New York and Washington. But for you, this is deeply personal. What emotion does this moment bring for you?
Well, it's a mixture of emotions. You certainly, this dredges up all the pain and anguish over the loss of my brother that we've lived with these past nearly 10 years. But at the same time, there is a sense of satisfaction, of completeness in that this chapter, the chapter of Osama bin Laden, is over, that he has been killed. And there is great satisfaction at that.
Satisfaction and completeness. All morning long, we've been talking here on the SAD about whether or not this does something for the family members of those who died on 9/11. It's definitely important to hear it from you that it does something. We want that for you, for sure. The president calls it justice. Justice has been served, but still there's so much more ahead. For families like you who will live forever with this loss, do you think it will help in whatever healing process there still is to go?
Oh, absolutely. We get asked quite frequently whether this puts some closure on our loss, and the answer is absolutely not. My brother's gone. He was murdered. He'll never be brought back to us, to his family. However, our military and what they did last night helped assure the families that there will forever from this point forward be no question that Osama bin Laden is dead. Killing him, recovering the body, saves us the anguish of wondering whether he died in some undisclosed location, whether he was killed by a bomb released from a drone, never to be recovered, always leaving us to wonder where is he, what could possibly happen in the future. But now we know that not only the man, but the symbol of global terrorism will no longer walk the earth.
Gordon, it's Willie Geist. We so appreciate you being with us this morning. Your brother Edward, 41 years old, on September 11, 2001, on Flight 93, traveling for business when the plane was hijacked, and the father of two. I'm wondering, how are Edward's children doing today?
Ed's children and wife are incredibly resilient. They are continue to mourn their loss, but it has not kept them from moving forward in their lives, attending college, and thriving. Yet there will always be a hole in our hearts at the loss of my brother.
How old are the children now?
They're college age.
Wow. Have you been able to talk to them about this yet?
I haven't had a chance to make verbal communications, but we have electronically communicated, yes.
Peggy Noonan. What are your thoughts this morning?
Well, I think like everybody, I feel like God bless the U.S. Navy SEALs. God bless the CIA. God bless the USA. A lot of gratitude to go around today. But I'll tell you, Joe, one big thing I'm thinking, I think it's really important that the White House and the U.S. military declassify everything around this operation right now in the next few days. It's important in a skeptical world to show them everything that we've got, the video, the pictures, the facts, as Samantha wonderfully shared them, of the attack itself, the pictures of bin Laden, the proof the proof that this happened, the proof of how it happened. We live in a world where anybody can say anything and nobody will believe nothing. So I think they ought to get these U.S. Navy SEALs out there and talking and really relaying exactly what happened. Tell this story, declassify it.
Gordon, you had to deal with the horrific loss of your brother. And in the years that followed, at least in the year that followed, the United States was unified. That had to provide you some comfort. But we have been through, for at least 5, 6, 7 years, a very ugly, divided time in this country, centered around this global war on terror. Did you ever lose faith in your government that they would do the right thing, that they would find justice? Or did you have a belief that this day would come, that justice would be done?
I've always believed that this day would come, that justice would be served. And while our country has struggled politically with some divisiveness, I am satisfied that our government has been resolute, and certainly our military has worked as one to secure the death of bin Laden. And I think it's a day where we should be incredibly proud of our military and very grateful to our government for continuing to search out and kill those that brought terror to our shores.
Gordon Felt, thank you so much for joining us this morning and telling us your thoughts this morning. We wish you the best.
Thank you so much. And our thoughts and prayers will remain with you and the other families. And I want to bring in right now Colonel Jack Jacobs again. Colonel Jacobs, let's talk about, and we have so many people to thank this morning, but let's talk about the remarkable Navy SEALs and the men and women of our armed forces who got the job done.
They will all get the job done anytime it's given to them. Too often we rely on the military as a default instrument of policy. When we need diplomacy, we rely on the military. We need economic instruments of policy to be used, we rely on the military. But this is one instance when we relied on the military, and they can always get the job done. These people have been training for this for their entire professional lives, knew the information they needed to know back in August and have been working on it ever since. And they're extraordinary folks. So when you meet them, you can tell that they're the best of the best. We're very lucky to have them.
We are very lucky to have them. Willie, what are your final thoughts this morning?
My final thoughts, as I said earlier, are with the families like Gordon Felt, families around the New York area, around the Washington, D.C. area, people who hopefully, at least in this one moment for this one day, have a little closure. But as so many have said this morning, the fight continues. The war against this stuff is not about one guy.
Mike?
My thoughts, the flag, the faces of all those young people in disparate places across this country, the renewal of pride, patriotism, the feeling that America is what we know it is, a country that can get things done the right way. America can seek justice and achieve justice. And I would hope that the pictures we've seen of all of these Americans in the streets would remain in our minds.
Peggy?
You know, for me, it comes down to we did it, we did it, we did it. It's good news for us and for the world, and for all the kids who are watching. Bad guys get caught.
Joe?
I just, thanks to the Navy SEALs, thanks to the men and women in the military, thank you for the intel community, for the families who have sacrificed so much over the past decade, and thank you, Mr. President. Great job.
Yeah. All right. Osama bin Laden is dead, shot in the head during a 40-minute assault on his compound in Pakistan. Our coverage here continues on MSNBC with Chuck and Savannah. Thanks very much for joining us this morning on an important day in our country's history.